2010, I was in a motorcycle accident. I was traveling eastbound on Washington when a gentleman ran a light and hit me. If you've been in an accident, my first thought to you, or my best advice to you would be to contact an attorney first and make sure that you are covering yourself because no one else is. I called Brad Mainor's office because his name is pretty well known throughout this town. I've lived here a very long time, and they specialize. That's all they do is personal injuries. So
I was in the car with my friend and we were T-boned in the middle of an intersection. After the accident, I wasn't really sure what to do. I was a bit overwhelmed. Brad really treated me as a friend, and I wasn't expecting that dealing with a successful law firm. When I called, they explained to me that I wouldn't be paying any money out of pocket. Not only did they make me feel at ease, but they kept me in the loop, what was going on all of the time. In the settlement, I received more than I was expecting, and I was really...
I was in a big box store. All of a sudden, out of the blue, something hit me. It was one of a very large metal cart, and it was filled to the top with cola bottles. But then he hit me again, much harder, and I flew through the air. Nobody saw it happen. One of the assistant managers helped me up, and I asked him to do a report, and he didn't really want to do it, but he did it. I chose Brad because I felt he was so knowledgeable in the field of what they called slip and fall. The companies that you go against are going to fight you tooth and nail. It's important to have somebody like Brad on your side who's going to fight tooth and nail for you.
I'm Taylor Randolph. I'm an attorney here in the state of Nevada. I have a master's in legal taxation. You know, most attorneys, most educated attorneys that practice in the law are going to stick to what they know, what their strengths are, and avoid their weaknesses. And essentially, what's vital is to do what you know and do it well. So that's why I always refer my clients to Joe and Brad, because they solely do personal injury representation, and that's their bread and butter, and that's what they excel in. And they know that area of law. I know when I give them a client that they're going to get sound representation. You know, personally, I've tried to dabble in that area of law, and I realize it's better. It's truly better to let somebody that knows what they're doing do it. And you know, soundly, Brad and Joe, they know what they're doing. Clients love them because they actually aren't afraid to communicate with them and return phone calls. Heck, Joe and Brad will even give out their cell phone, which is, you know, some stuff that most people won't even do. So they're not afraid to be your attorney. Most attorneys, they just want the case. They don't want the client. Whereas at the Mainor Wirth law firm, they want both. They want to help you out and they want to see the case succeed. And if you've been injured, give Mainor Wirth a call, because the longer you wait, the more damage it will be to your case.
I was in a nightclub that I'd frequented many times in the past. Next thing I know, I found myself unconscious in the arms of a bouncer, informing me of what had happened, that he had pulled several individuals off me after they were literally beating the hell out of me. They fractured my spine, tore my ACL, broke my ribs, broke my nose, you know, busted my teeth out, and really put a beating on me in what was described by an eyewitness as an attempt to kill me. And no other reason was given other than that they were drunk, violent individuals that had frequently had problems in the bar in the past. But unfortunately, when the bar found out how serious my injuries were, they all of a sudden didn't know who these 4 individuals were anymore, even though they had been previously barred from the club on at least 2 occasions. I knew that I was fighting big money, politically connected individuals, and I wanted to find an attorney that had the guts to go against those guys. And first round, I had an attorney file a lawsuit, but then as the case got more complicated, he bailed out on the case, and I was left pretty much high and dry. And then I found Brad Mainor, and Brad took on my case. And even though the proof was probably going to be a little bit tough to come by, Mr. Mainor decided to take the case on anyway, knowing that we were fighting a couple $100 million company. And Mr. Mainor took the case on, made sure that I got the medical care that I needed, kept the doctors at bay for 4 years plus, and got me walking again. When this case first happened, I spent 2 months in a wheelchair. If you get injured in Las Vegas or anywhere in Nevada and you need a personal injury attorney, I recommend you call Mainor Wirth. They took my case They worked my case. They won my case.
And the lady came and just slammed into my car and threw me into a palm tree. I hurt my neck and my back. At the time, I just thought it was something minor. The first person I called was Brad Mainor. I called him before I even called my insurance rep because I wanted to make sure that I gave the right information to the right people. By calling and speaking to Brad, they were able to start the process of contacting the other person's insurance and getting my case established. So not only were my bills paid, I got money back too. After the settlement, they still continued to work for me. I still was receiving bills from different doctors that I had seen in the beginning of the case, and they were able to make those phone calls and the bills stopped coming. I called Brad on a Sunday. I was surprised that I got a phone call back that evening from Brad asking how we were doing, giving me the information that I needed on what type of doctor to go see, to get into physical therapy right away, that would help our injuries in the long run, especially because my daughter had just been released from her previous crash. From talking to different people, I hear so many people that are seeing an attorney they're not comfortable with. They don't feel that they're being handled and represented correctly. They call in, all they speak to is a paralegal or the receptionist. If you're not comfortable with the attorneys you currently have, call Joe, call Brad. They're gonna do you right.